Hey, you guys, this is bad. This is bad. I can't keep doing it like this. Uh, at least financially speaking, this is the most my single this is the most I've ever spent in 1 week on single issues. I should really count these, but I won't. That's going to take a while. Hi Kitty. Thanks for joining me. This is a big stack, so I'll just be upfront and say that I have not read a whole lot of these. Normally, I like to read a bunch before I start working at the shop on Wednesday morning, but there's no possible way I could ever get through this whole stack in time. So I've read maybe 4 or 5 of these comics. But if anything, that should make this stream hopefully go a little quicker, because this is going to take a while to get through all of these issues. This is the last new comic. This is the last new comic book day for the month of May. That was hard for me to say for some reason. Which means I need to finalize my list for my upcoming video that will be about the top 5 comics from May, at least my top 5. So there's, I can already say there are some contenders in here that I have read. We'll see what else, how else I feel about the rest of the stack, but I'm going to stop procrastinating and get to it. Also, hi Tessa and hi Tiago. Good to see you both again. And hi Kitty. Yes. Hi. You can't hang out. There's no room. There's no room for anything. Also, I got one trade. And I'll probably just start with that because I got nowhere else to put it. The trade that I grabbed this week. Silver Coin, Volume 2, trade paperback. This is issues 6 through 10. I love this comic. It's a great horror anthology book. Enough said, I guess. It'll end up... Actually, someone's going to be borrowing this. So this will not go on the shelf right away. I will set that over here. Pet the kitty. Hopefully get her to shut the hell up. And start the show. Okay. What is the... This is Beast Wars. We're starting good. Starting off strong. Speaking of annoying cats. There's a couple of them. That would be a Cheetor and Tigatron for all you Beast Wars kids out there. This is issue 16. I think there's one more of this, and then it's going bye-bye. Just a little unfortunate, but that's kind of longer than I thought this comic would go on for anyway, considering that, like, 2 people read it. Hello, James. You're just in time. This is only the second book I've thrown up, so you missed all the boring preamble stuff and me yelling at my cat. This is Radiant Red, issue number 3 out of 5. We're already over halfway done with this little miniseries, and it's turned into a cool little heist comic. This character was kind of one note and not really in the main Radiant Black series that much, so I'm glad she's getting some a chance to like spread her wings and get a little more character development in her own little miniseries. I hope to see more of this kind of development for that universe. I like this idea of a miniseries more so than additional ongoing series. Like, I'll get to it later because it's somewhere in this pile, but I'm not the biggest fan of Rogue Sun when you compare it to Radiant Black and Radiant Red. Maybe that's just me, though. This is a thick one. This must be the Image Anniversary. Yep. Image Anniversary issue number 2 of 12, I think they're doing. I really liked the first one of this. This has a bunch of short stories in here. So I think there's 12 issues. And in here there is like part 2 of a 12-part story. I guess everything in here is part 2. And then all of the different stories are different lengths. So there's at least one book in here. I think it's just one story that goes through the entire 12-issue run. And then there's a bunch more smaller ones like 2-parters and 4-parters and 6-parters. So you got to like just get them all. It's cool. There's a lot of really cool creators working in here. My personal favorite that I remember from the first one being the first story in here with done by Jeff Johns and Andrea Muti, who does the art for Bunny Mask and Maniac of New York. Really cool artist. I can see the polybag in this one. This is the last book you'll ever read. The final issue of the last book. The last book you'll ever read. Whew, I took that low-hanging fruit. I have not even opened this yet. This is still in the poly bag, still sealed up in here. Normally I open these and tell you, ooh, it's spicy, but I have no idea. Maybe one of you knows. I have no idea what this cover looks like. Hopefully it's good. I've gotten the black bag covers for every issue in this run so far, and they've been fine. My biggest complaint is that they all come beat to hell. The spines on all of them are pretty mashed up and crunched. This book feels a little thicker than the other ones, though. Maybe it's like a extra length final issue. Tessa thought it was fine. Is that like it's fine or it's fine? You know, that could be different. You know, that could be. Is it acceptable or is it hot? Please let me know. Captain Carter, number 3. Speaking of acceptable, I guess she's also hot. Captain Carter is a sexy lady, but this is fine. This is a fine story. I'm glad it's a 5-issue miniseries. I don't love this comic, but it is getting better. This is basically an alternate universe, and there is a different version of Tony Stark that shows up in this issue that makes it that spices things up, makes it a little more exciting. I don't know. Something about that comic has not really grabbed me yet. And the addition of Tony Stark, and like a different kind of Iron Man, I appreciate that. And I think was it Howard Stark that was in the original? I don't remember the What If episode very well. I don't remember that whole show very well, to be completely honest. I didn't love it, but I think Howard Stark was in that. It wasn't somebody. I don't know, whatever. It's a cool book. I'm gonna get all 5 issues and then completely forget about it. This looks like Action Comics 1043. Was just talking to Tessa about this actually, and this is a fine cover. It's fine, right? Like usually especially the variants I have been loving for Action Comics, but this one is. I mean, it's peaceful. It's elegant. But it's kind of boring at the same time. I do love this series. I'm going to hold off on reading this because this is, spoiler alert for the few of you that are in here, this is one of the books that I'll be talking about, hopefully, on the next live show with Comic Tom. So I need to do a little reread of recent Action Comics issues. I can tell you up front, I don't think he's going to like this book. He's not a big Superman person. He's not a big... I don't know if it's sci-fi or if it's like fantasy. This specific story arc of Action Comics is a little bit fantastical. It's like Superman on a different planet in a kind of like a permanent, like sort of gladiator society, and he's working to like free a bunch of slaves from this oppressive world that they all live on. It's a really cool story that I really like, and I'm interested to talk about it on our channel eventually. But Comic Tom's got a lot of homework to do. So do I. I need to reread the last. I guess this makes it like 7 issues. I don't think we need to read all of that to talk about this story arc, but I'm a little weird. Hey, Beans. Corey. Still better than most people can do, but kind of weak for Tedesco. I would agree. But I mean, how many different Superman covers can a person draw? Like, he's flying, he's punching, he's zapping someone with laser beams, he's throwing a car at someone, like there's... Every now and then you got to do a simple one. The Recount Preamble, number 1. I think this is just a one-shot. I'm excited to read this. I do like The Recount. It's one of my favorite Scout books. And this is a one-shot prequel that kind of fills in the story leading up into the actual Recount event from... Recount's got to be like 3 years old now at this point. So I'm excited to get into this and get a little more of that world. Have not read it yet, though. I don't think I've read any of... I've read Radiant Red and Captain Carter out of everything I've gone through so far, so not much. Finally able to catch Alive, says Unearthly Comics, here over What Not Wednesday. Okay. Welcome. Good to have you. It's a little less exciting than What Not Wednesday, I guess. There's no chance for you to get anything other than visual enjoyment, of course. I mean, the comics. Not me, of course. Beans says, Superman has always been boring to me. Well, my friend, you need to check out the live stream I just did with my buddy No Good Comics. Justin, him and I talked about the best Superman story, in my humble opinion, Superman for All Seasons. We're actually going to be doing a follow-up episode on that tomorrow night, and about 23 hours from now, actually. We will be going live on his channel and discussing issue 2 of that 4-issue story arc. Can I grab it? Can I grab it? There you are. Superman for all seasons. Give this book a shot, Beans. And if you don't have feelings after reading this, then you're officially like a robot or somebody who doesn't have any kind of feelings, because this book is awesome. I love it. I love it so much. That's why it has a spot on the shelf. And actually, since I'm doing this video tomorrow, I'm going to keep this book out. Okay, good. Hey, you're fire. That's pretty accurate. Kingdom Come was amazing. Kingdom Come is pretty cool. I have the Absolute of Kingdom Come right here, but it's been a long time since I've read it, and I need to give it a reread. I do love Kingdom Come. It is a really good Superman story, but I have not read it in a long time. Have you read any of those Deadly Class hardcovers? Says Nicholas. Ooh, calling me out, man. I'm going to be 100% honest. I have read the first trade of Deadly Class, and that's probably like 1/2 or 1/3 of this first pink book here. But these are my brother's books. I bought them for him as a gift. It's one of the only comics that he actually likes. So I don't even think he's read all 3 of them. This third one is a pretty recent addition, but I do need to carve out the time and actually read all of Deadly Class. But I've liked the little part that I have read of it, and the very little, like 1 trade, and it's been a while too. Damn sexy shirt, sexy man, says Comic Tom 101. Hi Tom. It is a sexy shirt. By the way, I don't know if you got your tracking information for the next Tiny Onion stuff, but our new shirts are on the way. At least I don't know if you got a shirt. I got a Department of Truth shirt that's coming in the mail, supposedly this weekend. So we'll have something to open up on our next live show. I also just finished Calling You Out, Comic Tom. I don't know if you're still here, but I got the new issue of Action Comics, and I told everyone how excited you are to read this. Next book. Devil's Reign Omega. This is like the I think of this as like a post-credits scene, I guess, to the Devil's Reign event. I have not read this yet. I fully expect this to be like a post-credit scene to that event, and also kind of a prequel to the new Daredevil #1 that Zdarsky and Marco Cicchetto are going to be doing here pretty soon. So I feel like I've already read it. I think I know exactly what to expect from that issue. Hopefully I'll be proven wrong. Oh man, not so much, but I do what I got to do. See, I knew it. I knew you wouldn't like it. It's okay. It takes a little bit to get going, but once Federici pops on those pencils, man, it gets sexy. Riccardo Federici. I love him. Let's get him for a variant cover. I don't know how that works, but let's just do it. He's probably got nothing to do. Next book, Saga. Hey, this is 59. I like this little fishy. That's about all I know. I have not read Saga yet either. I am caught up. I actually have the last issue of Saga right here on the top of this stack. So I will be reading the last one and the current one, as I always do. And like I said before, I discovered ever since Saga has been back in single issues, Tom, we should also probably talk about this book soon too. Ever since Saga has been back in single issues, I like it a lot more. Binge reading the 3 fatty hardcovers that are like directly behind me. Holy crap. Yeah, they are. Like literally, I'm not moving. They're right behind me. And binge reading Saga was a bad experience for me. I did not enjoy it. I thought it was throwing way too much at me too fast, and that's my fault for reading it too quick. I actually had to talk about this with somebody in Mill Geek Comics today, and they were surprised that I had that feeling, because they thought that they enjoyed binge reading it and they don't like having to wait month over month for every issue. But I think waiting a month for this book, it lets each issue and like the adventures that happen in it kind of sit with you a little more, because there's, you don't just have a whole. When I was reading Saga, I was telling myself, cool, 54 issues, 53 to go, 52 to go, and it was just flipping through it, and it was all like a whirlwind, and nothing really stuck, and everything felt so fast and rushed, and I didn't really attach myself to the characters. Gotta pace yourself, says Unearthly Comics. And yeah, I agree. But also Saga is like really good, and it lends itself to reading it really fast. And I knocked out like, there's 3 of those big hardcovers that have 18 issues in them, and I knocked out like 1 hardcover at a time. So I was having a blast going through it, but also it kind of soured me on the whole Saga experience, and reading it single issue, 1 at a time. I like it. I like it a lot. Binge read again, single, then read it backwards. What are you talking about? Shut up, man. I don't know. I'm just talking about comic books. Read Saga slowly is my advice. Do you have beans? What do you think of We Live? I have not read We Live from Aftershock Comics, I believe. Um, I know I need to. It's supposed to be really good. I've heard nothing but good things about We Live, but I have not read that. I skipped that one. I felt the same with Why the Last Man. Had to control myself to digest everything. Yeah, I think the problem I had with Saga reading it so fast is that it's sci-fi. That there's so much stuff being thrown at you, weird creatures and aliens and planets and politics, and there's just a lot there. And if you go too fast, then for me it kind of all washed over me, and none of it really stuck, and I didn't enjoy it. I was just really trying to catch up before the new issues started coming out again. So that's my fault. And Tessa says, "Huh, weird. I remember someone getting annoyed at me for loving Saga." Yeah, I assume I'll get into it whenever Tom and I do a show about Saga, but I still don't love it. You know, and there's a reason I haven't read it yet. Out of all these books, I would have read it earlier if it was one of my absolute favorites, but I don't love it. It's a very well made book, especially Fiona Staples on the artwork. It's drawn perfectly, and I love Brian K. Vaughan, but I much prefer Why the Last Man or Ex Machina, or even Pride of Baghdad. I like things that are a lot more grounded, and Saga just feels too chaotic. Lying, yeah, good. That was good. That's a good reference. Moving on, Detective Comics 1060. Have not read this yet, but I do enjoy this cover. And now that I have done a show with Tom actually about crossover and that whole sequence with the people's hands reaching out of the prison bars being a Spawn homage, I know that now. I know that's what's happening here. So I'm pretty smart. That's all I got to say about Detective Comics. Paper Girls for me. That's a good choice. I need to read more Paper. I think I only read the first trade, but it was cool. I'm bad at that. I read like one trade of something and then just forget to go back. The art is amazing. The writing is great. The book is just okay. I don't think that's an unfair statement. I think you can have one of the greatest writers writing a book, and the art obviously slamming all the doors down. The art is fantastic on Saga, but the plot I don't love. I just don't love it, and that's okay. This is thin. What is this? Oh, you guys. Okay, I'm opening this. I was trying to be somewhat fast, but I don't like this book. I don't think I like Spider-Man. There's a good example. Yeah. This has John Romita Jr. artwork in here, and this is rough. This book is a hard read. I would be able to tolerate his artwork if the story was any good, but I think the story in here is somehow convoluted and boring all at once, and it's just ugly. I did not enjoy myself reading this. I was disappointed with issue 1, but I told myself I'll give it a little bit. Maybe issue 2 will change my mind. And it just has more of the same. The first issue of this book opens with a really cool one-page shot of Spider-Man. Basically, he's beat to hell. He's in the middle of what looks like a mushroom cloud kind of crater. Clearly, he has been in the midst of some kind of terrible accident or explosion, it looks like. And then it cuts forward to 6 months later, and he's like stopping or trying to stop a gang war between two crime bosses, like any normal Spider-Man story you've seen a million times before, and it completely avoids whatever sort of incident just happened to him. And I just, it's not good. It's really not good. And I think people were, maybe it's just because I've only read the last couple of runs of Spider-Man, at least as far as writers go, but between Nick Spencer's run on Spider-Man, the last time it restarted with a #1, like 4 years ago, and then the Beyond storyline that just recently wrapped up. Those are the only 3 runs of Amazing Spider-Man I've read, but this new one by Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. is easily my least favorite of the 3. Maybe because I am so inexperienced, but I think people were unnecessarily harsh on Nick Spencer's run. I enjoyed that significantly more than this. It just had this energy and excitement to it. And I think a lot of that had to do with Ryan Ottley's artwork, which I really like, but something here just is not working. And obviously I'm going to keep getting it. I feel like it's Spider-Man. I need to keep reading it, but I'm not enjoying myself, which is a shame because Spider-Man is Spider-Man, and it should not be this should not be this bad of a read for being like one of the premier top tier superheroes in all of comics. It's a reboot again, to the point that every page I feel like I already read in other runs. Yeah, I think if I had more Amazing Spider-Man experience, I would be even more upset and disappointed with what's happening here, because it feels very pedestrian and boring. It feels like a Daredevil story. Like he's fighting two just crime bosses. He's throwing himself in the middle of a gang war that's happening. And I just don't care. I don't care. I don't find Tombstone a particularly compelling villain either. So maybe that's just me. Thank God for indies. Issue 2 was weak sauce again, says Jeff Schultz. Yeah, so Amazing Spider-Man is 0 for 2 so far. Big bummer. Spencer's Superior Foes of Spider-Man was my jam. I need to read that. I still need to read that. There were quite a few callbacks to that run during his run on Spider-Man 2, which, even as somebody who has never read it, I was able to notice that. I thought that was cool. Has J.R. Jr. gone to Frank Miller? Haven't enjoyed artwork as their careers. Yeah, that's a good... I don't think I've liked either of them. Like Frank Miller's artwork has never really done it for me. I like what he does in Sin City, but that's mostly due to the coloring and the shadows and the vibe and the story. I think Frank Miller is a better writer than he is an artist, but his artwork never sat right with me. I don't like reading The Dark Knight Returns. I find it a very ugly book to look at. Maybe that's going to get me in trouble for saying that. I don't enjoy that book. I've tried to give John Romita Jr. the benefit of the doubt, but the more I see, the less I like. But maybe he is getting worse as time goes on. And if somebody has like, but wait, here, read this. This is his best work. Like maybe there's something I just don't know of yet. But every modern thing from both of those two I've seen has not impressed me. Dude just meets deadlines, but the product, it does suffer. That makes sense, because a lot of this work feels very flat and rushed, and rushed, quick. Like, just get it done. That makes sense. All right, moving on, please. Oh God. Okay, this is North Bend season 2, number 5 from Scout. Have not read it. I have all 5 issues sitting here in my read it now box that's over there. I need to reread season 1 of North Bend, but this is a really cool kind of trippy spy government conspiracy kind of book from Scout Comics. It has vibes of like Twin Peaks, but also Department of Truth, but also kind of Stranger Things. It's a weird mixture of stuff, but North Bend was really cool. I have not gotten into season 2 yet, though, so maybe North Bend sucks now, and I am 5 issues into a crappy sequel. Who knows? It's over now, though. The only thing that issue was good for was it made me want to sit down and eat a Tombstone pizza while watching Tombstone. Clever. I really liked his Daredevil. Oh, John Romita Jr. on Daredevil. Okay. I think I had that up here. Is that John Romita Jr.? No, that's Mazzucchelli. Okay, duh. But that is Frank Miller. Frank Miller Daredevil. Does John Romita Jr. do... That's probably what you were talking about anyway. I don't know. My brain's all over the place today. All right. Bloodstained Teeth. This is issue number 2. This is an interesting story because I read issue 1 of this last month and I was not really sucked in. I did not have the best time reading this. It was actually, I do want to show off the art in here because I think that is the defining feature of this story for me. It's a vampire book, but it is colorful, which is not something that usually happens in any horror comic. I just opened up to a random page and like, look at all these colors in here. This is a scary vampire book, but it's vibrant and it has an energy to it that a lot of horror stuff does not have. And horror being my favorite genre, I was really cautious about this book. I love horror, but I do not love vampires. So it's a weird relationship. But vampire stories always kind of let me down in one way or the other. And this one, issue 2, especially rereading issue 1 before jumping into issue 2, which is how I read all of my comics every week. Getting a double dose of the first 2 issues of this story really helped crystallize my feelings on it. basically you have the main character of this book who has been accepting money from normal people to bite them and turn them into vampires. So like if someone has cancer or they just don't want to die for whatever reason, they can pay this guy's really high fee and he will bite them and turn them into a vampire. But now like this is why I don't like vampire books, because there's always some mysterious top secret rich vampire class. They go to him and say, yo, you're doing this is bad. What you're doing is bad. You have 1 month to go and kill everybody that you have turned, or we'll kill you, or something like that. So I just don't know how long this book can go on for, but Christian Ward is one of my favorite artists, or cover artists. I guess he does interiors sometimes. Christian Ward is awesome, and he is writing this book and doing the main covers. And I'm very impressed. I always kind of wonder, like, you're a good artist, but can you write something too? Is that, usually I feel like, I don't know, with writer artist combos, you get a lot of people who write and draw, but it's interesting to see an artist just completely step back and only do the script for this book. And it's a well-written story. Like I'm interested now. First one had me a little on the fence, but I'm tiptoeing onto the right side of the fence now. Oh, hey, Mike Choi. Hi. Thanks for hanging out. Speaking of good artists, liked issue 2 better. I'm a sucker for a good vampire book. I'm not. I like Salem's Lot, but I think, what is the matter with you? I like Salem's Lot more because it's a kind of a small, I like the small town vibes of Salem's Lot better than the vampire plot. Something about vampires. I don't know. I don't want to blame Twilight. I don't think it's Twilight, but if I had to choose between zombies or vampires, I think a zombie story is more my speed. The vivid colors reminded me of We Only Find Them When They're Dead. I really need to read that book. That's one of my bigger regrets on comics I have skipped entirely in the past couple years. I should probably get a trade of that. Next book I grabbed this week, this is Moon Knight 11. It's fine. It's Moon Knight. It's not fine. I should be a little. It's better than fine. This is one of Marvel's better books right now. I still don't love it. I did read this last night, and I'm already kind of forgetting. The standout in here for me is the artwork and the colors. There's a lot of cool. A lot of this book takes place in darkness because it's Moon Knight, and the glowing effect that they use for Mark Spector's costume, like you can see it down here. They make it glow in the dark, kind of. I don't know how they do that, but I really appreciate that. I find that a very nice touch. And you can see it on this page more. It's a cool comic. I'm a pretty big Moon Knight rookie, though. I don't read a lot of. I haven't read a lot of this character. We'll see. I don't cancel books. I don't drop books from my pull list, but this one certainly isn't in any danger. I'm just wondering where they're going to go with this storyline. This has kind of been building around this villain Zodiac here for 11 issues now, and it's kind of the same feeling I have about the Iron Man series that's going on right now at Marvel too. Like, if you spend too long in one place with one character and one, I don't know, the nature of an ongoing series, I feel like I just much prefer miniseries and smaller scale stuff that ends, because it gives me an easy jumping off point. It's easy to jump onto stuff, but it's harder for me, at least, to cut and run and bail on something. So we'll see how long I stick around for Moon Knight, but I also question Marvel on how long they're even going to keep it running, or how long they'll keep Jed MacKay writing that book anyway. So don't let me give you the impression that I don't like this book. I do like Moon Knight. I just wonder long term what's going to happen here. But I still think, for my money, this is one of the better books that Marvel is putting out. Hi, Ryan is the guy who introduced me to James Tynion, so I'm here for more Rex. There are a couple of James Tynion books in this stack, actually. It was a big week for him. 2 of his most popular books came out today, including this one. No, that would have been cool, though. This is Naughty List number 2. This is kind of like Bad Santa, like that movie from 20 years ago with Billy Bob Thornton playing Santa Claus. That was a fun. We're playing a mall Santa. He wasn't actually Santa. This actually is Santa. I can't remember exactly what happens in here. Um, Spoiler alert again. This is the other book that Comic Tom and I are going to be talking about on our next live show. So I've been waiting to reread issue 1 because I want to prep. I want to prep for our upcoming show and read it right before. So yes, this is Francavilla. Francavilla. I don't know how to pronounce it. I feel like it should be Villa, but I'm an ignorant white boy, so I don't know. Either way, his covers rule. But no, this book is a lot of fun. I imagine it's going under a lot of people's radar. But yeah, it's Aftershock, so this will probably be a 4 or 5 issue series. Something happened to him, and he has to I think he's literally using the. What the hell happened? Someone stole his list. I don't remember. I had fun with this book. It's like Santa Claus mixed with like Taken or John Wick or something. It just feels very weirdly mature. And his elves are helping him track people down. It's weird. It's funny. It shouldn't work, but it does, at least for me. I quite enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to talking about it on our live show. Mike Choi did a cover for it. You did a cover for Naughty List? I'd like to see that, unless you're talking about Moon Knight, maybe. Either way, I want to see. Oh, you're talking about this. Yeah, okay. The closet makes much more sense. Yes, I love that cover of yours, sir, and I'm very much. I want it. I want to get it from you, though. We'll figure something out. Hulk, number 7. Have not read this yet. This event is coming out a little too fast for me. I still have a pile of books from last week over here, a very small pile, because I have a lot of comics and I don't have a lot of time, especially now that I'm editing my own YouTube videos. That takes a while. So there's a few books from last week that I have not read. In that pile is the Banner War Alpha preview issue. I need to reread that, read last week's issue of Thor, and then go into part 3 of this event, which is in this week's Hulk number 7. It's coming out really fast. I kind of hope to slow down a little bit. I don't know what's happening next or how long it's going to take for the next chapter, but this Hulk series has been pretty cool. I just hope this crossover event doesn't derail it too far from the ongoing storyline, but that's one of the downsides of superhero comics. Right in the middle of whatever story you're telling, you have to pause and do a crossover. The caveat with this storyline, though, is at least it's a Hulk and a Thor crossover event, and Donny Cates is writing both. So I think if he should be able to keep both of his stories on track while telling a cool crossover at the same time. I remember enjoying that first preview issue when I first read that, so hopefully this event is cool still. Smash that like button on the way out. Good night, Ryan and chat. One love from Chicago. Good night, sir. It's a little bit later over there. It's kind of late over here, too, but I am doing this live stream slightly earlier than I normally do, which seems to be working a little bit better. Also, because I have a lot more books than I normally do, so that's better for me, too. Yo, Fire Guy Live. Yes. Yes, I am live. Hello. Newburn, number 7. This is number 7, yeah. Chip Zdarsky is still one of my favorite writers. And on paper, this book should be my all-time absolute favorite story ever. It's about an ex-cop who basically works as a private eye detective, as a neutral figure for all the different crime families in New York or whatever city he's in. And whenever something goes wrong, they call him to kind of solve the mystery, I guess. And so this is kind of like there's not as much of an ongoing plot in this story as I would like. Each issue is kind of him solving a different crime and moving on to the next one. It's different, and I got to give Zdarsky credit for being able to handle so many different types of stories that he's doing, between Batman the Knight and Stillwater and Newburn, and he's extremely talented, and Newburn is extremely well written and drawn. I can't help but feel a little bit of disappointment considering how much love I have for both crime stories as well as organized crime stories. So it's a weird mixture of detective noir, good Asian mixed with like The Godfather or something, but it's not quite what I want. That's just me nitpicking. It's still a really good book, and again, I don't know where he's going with this, and I'm hoping that we get a little more connective story as we move forward through Newburn, because it's so close to being like something I really love, and hopefully it grows and evolves into something that I do love. Not quite there yet, though. Punisher number 3. This is the variant cover. I don't even know who does this. I should probably look into that before I start talking about this stuff. I've been getting the variants for this Punisher series the whole time, and this is a pretty cool side. It's not really an alternate universe story, but he's basically in charge of the Hand, a group of ninjas, and it is kind of refreshing to. It's weird to use the word refreshing when talking about the Punisher, but it is a nice change of pace to see this character not using so many guns, especially, with what's been going on in the world recently. It's kind of hard to read a Punisher book right now, but I do appreciate this like ninja direction they're taking him. It's interesting. It's refreshing. It is not boring, because I think, especially with this character, it's very easy to hit a wall. And like, there's only so much stuff you can do with this guy. And this is a really interesting direction. Like the Hand, the group of ninjas, have used some sort of magical ninja powers to like resurrect his wife, who was killed in a big shootout, and that's the whole reason he became the Punisher in the first place. So now somehow she is resurrected, and the Hand is using that to hold over his head to kind of become their like chief enforcer. So it's a cool story. I'm enjoying this much more than I thought I would, and Sword Punisher is a genius idea, and I'm enjoying that a lot. Oh. I'm just really not liking Spider-Man, especially this book. This is just not fun. I have not read issue 3. I don't really want to, but it's a 5-issue miniseries, so I gotta get the whole thing, because I've already pre-ordered number 3 by the time I get number 1. It's a weird. I don't like how that part of being a comic book reader works. How you have to order everything so far in advance, and before you even read the first issue, you have to decide whether or not you want issues 2 and 3. So in a 5-issue miniseries, it's just easier to just get the whole thing. Unfortunately, this is a very bad series that I do not enjoy. I don't like actively saying that something is just bad, but this is Spider-Man and Baron Zemo trapped on some kind of island, and I don't even remember how, but Peter Parker has basically turned into a savage spider thing. The art's pretty cool. I'll give it that. But it's just, I just don't care. This is not for me. It's fine. It feels like a sequel to something that I did not read, which I wish I had known before getting this book. But if you look in the cover, the word savage is crossing out non-stop. So I think this is a sequel to a non-stop Spider-Man. Maybe reading that would cast some light on whatever the hell's happening here, but I don't like that. I don't like that book, and I don't like saying that I don't like that book. I don't like being that mean, and I try to find nice things to say when at all possible, but that book's tough. It's a tough one. The race for what is my least favorite book on my pull list is there's a few different contenders, but that's one of them. That's way down at the very bottom, along with Future State Gotham, which weirdly enough kind of got a little bit better last issue. I don't know where they switched. Whatever. I'm not talking about that book. This one, I have not read this yet. I've read the first 12 issues of Pearl, I think, back when it was at DC. But this is another one that, like, if you're only reading it just for the art in here by Michael Gaydos, then do that. This is the creative team who did Jessica Jones, is probably what they're most famous for doing Alias. But this is just really cool painted artwork in here that is it's gnarly. And as somebody who used to be a gigantic fan of Brian Michael Bendis, but has kind of grown cold towards him in recent years, I'm very nervous about cracking this open and reading it, but this does look promising. I loved all of the things he did at DC with his Jinx World imprint, like Cover and Scarlet. and Pearl. So we'll see how this goes. I did not like the new creator-owned series he did for Dark Horse called Joy Operations. It's a weird sci-fi story that just did not ever really click or take off for me. And something about him as a writer currently is just not working for me. It's not taking off or delivering in the way that I want it to. So there's a lot riding on that one issue of Pearl for me right now. So we'll see how that goes. But I really enjoyed the first 12 issues, and it would be weird if it just suddenly tanked that hard. But it has been a couple years since Pearl came out, so maybe he lost whatever spark he had in that intervening time period. Here we go. Batman, it's just Batman Fortress #1. I think this is an 8-issue series. This was really good. I was pleasantly surprised with this. Basically, you have Gotham City, just a total blackout happens, which is weirdly similar to Batman One Dark Knight, written and drawn and everything by Jock, where all the power goes out in the city, but then they quickly find out that this is a worldwide problem, and then they find out that there is what looks like an alien ship hovering over like the ocean, one of the oceans somewhere, that is causing like a global electronics blackout, like a total EMP situation. And Batman is starting to stress out because Superman is nowhere to be seen, and normally Superman would just fly up and smash through a spaceship or whatever and save the day, but he is nowhere to be seen. So at the end of this issue, he's just starting to realize like it's kind of on him now to take care of this problem, and I'm excited to see where it goes. It really sold me. I was a little nervous with this book, but it worked out quite well. And yeah, I do enjoy this variant. Is this Forn? Nope, this is not Fornias. This is variant cover by Doaly. Doaly. One word. Doaly. Not familiar with their artwork, but I do like this. Yeah, half mask, half skyscraper cover here. I think that's cool. Simple but effective. I've still got several comics to go through. Thanks for making good enough time. I'd like to try and get these videos as close to an hour as I possibly can, if not shorter, but we'll see how it goes. Next up, Something is Killing the Children, #23. Have not read this one yet either. I'm looking forward to it, though. This new story arc, I think we're 3 issues in now. It has yet to fully grab me, so I'm excited to see. I know, James Tynion is obviously my favorite writer, and I have faith, and I really like this series, but something about this current story arc has not fully hooked me yet, and I know that it's just going to take a while to heat up, and it is heating up, and I do remember some stressful, intense developments in the last issue, and I think we will get there. I'm very excited to crack that open and prove myself wrong, because I hate that I am not fully in love with the last couple issues of that book. I finished like 10 issues of something. Oh, okay, yeah, we were talking about this earlier at the shop. You read like the whole run of Something's Killing the Children and House of Slaughter to catch up. So yeah, I remember earlier today you said you were still a little bit behind, but it sounds like you're ready to go. Rogue Sun, I was talking about this earlier. This is #4. I don't hate this book, but I don't love it. It's a spin-off, I guess. It exists in the same world as Radiant Black, supposedly, but it easily could just be its own separate thing. This has, so far, the only real crossover these two characters or universes or stories have had has been in the supermassive one-shot from a few months ago. Other than that, this Rogue Sun thing is very much its own story, its own world. It's more of an interesting like family storyline, I guess, than a superhero comic. It's fine. I hate saying that because it makes me sound like an asshole, but I don't know. I'm just really sour on superheroes, and Radiant Black was something refreshing and different and new, and this comic still hasn't fully hooked me yet. 4 issues in. I haven't read #4 yet, so we'll see how I feel after this one. But if I had to choose to cut Radiant Black or Rogue Sun from my pull list, it would easily be Rogue Sun on the chopping block. the story just doesn't have the same heart or like energy and sense of like optimism and energy and life and passion that Radiant Black has in its best moments. And it sucks that I'm going to always compare the two of them to each other, but this one just, I think it could benefit from a little more interconnectivity. So hopefully the two characters will meet up again at some point in the future. Maybe I just need to go read Supermassive again. I need to do that anyway. Nope, almost grabbed the book I've already talked about. All right, moving right along, we have The Rush, number 6. This is the conclusion to The Rush. And if you watched my recent top 5 comics from April, this series, I guess the last issue of this series, number 5, made my second place spot. I have been a big fan of The Rush for the whole time that it's been out, and this is the conclusion. I don't know if this will make my list, and if it does, it will be near the bottom of my top 5 for the month of May. It's still a really good comic. If to even make that list, it's got to be really good. But all of the surprises and the action and all of that happened right before this, and this is a lot of tying up threads, and it concludes the story in a really nice way. But I don't love it like I loved the other issues. I'm excited to read all 6 of these in the hardcover when it comes out and get the full picture all at once. But as far as chapter 6 of that storyline goes, this was not my favorite of all 6. But I do love this variant done here by Martin Simmons. I've gotten all of his variant covers for this whole run so far, and this one's quite good. They'll use that as a cover blurb. It's fine. Fire Guy Ryan. It's fine. It's good. That's basically just been 100% stolen from Dennis Reynolds on It's Always Sunny. Like most of everything I do. Stolen from that show or some other show. Water break. Don't cut books. Just add and sell what you don't want to keep at a claim sale. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Crap. I haven't talked to the Golden Age Guru, but there's probably going to be a claim sale based on the way he does it. I assume next weekend, maybe even this weekend. If it's this weekend, I won't be able to go. That's not enough prep time. We'll figure it out. Anyway, I need to start thinking about that and planning ahead. Next book on this list is Swamp Thing 13. I got this variant cover by Gist. Is that how you say it? E-M Gist? Gist? Gist sounds better, I guess, but I don't like either one. But that's a really cool variant cover that I quite like. And the Swamp Thing, the last issue of this, also made my top 5 from April. I'm just giving spoilers for that whole video right here. So apparently you don't even need to go watch it, but you should go watch it. I really like the Swamp Thing, and I really like the direction it is taking in the last few issues with the introduction of this new group of villains, I guess you could say. I don't know if the group of villains is I don't know. You could see in that video that I was kind of struggling with how exactly to describe this organization. That doesn't sound like the right word either. Villain also doesn't feel right. Antagonist, I guess, is the best word. Anyway, I'm excited to crack this open. Every week I try and save the books I'm really excited for till later, so I don't, read everything I love right away and then have to suffer through the stuff I hate at the end. It's weird. But yeah, Swamp Thing. I'm excited to read this. There's 13, 14, 15, so four more left, including this one. The series is almost over unless they extend it again. And John, if you're still here, you should put this book back on your pull list because you're wrong for dropping Swamp Thing. I'm going to call you out on that publicly, or at least as public as my videos are, which is not. Might as well be talking to myself. The Collector, Unit 731. This one was interesting. This was a story about World War II. I gotta reach deep into the memory banks here. This was about the Eastern Front of the war, so not Europe, Japan, the Japanese side of the war, the Pacific stuff, and it was about experimentation on prisoners in a prisoner of war camp, and they were like injecting them with some kind of drug, or like I don't know exactly what was happening, and I'm very excited to go back and read issue 1 before jumping into number 2 here. But this was a really cool war horror story that is written by the same guy who just drew Out for AWA, which I don't even have on my shelf anymore because someone's borrowing that because it's really good and I really like it. But that artist went from doing that prisoner World War II story to doing a completely different prisoner World War II story. It's interesting that that's how his mind works, but he clearly latched onto something he's feeling. And I'm really loving both of those two comics. So maybe there's a third one coming after this. Who knows? Dear Lord, I can't imagine dropping Swampy. Yeah, it looks like John just jumped in to say hi and get a bunch of fame, you know? He's piggybacking off of me, really. But he's clearly not here to defend himself. But that is a grievous mistake that he has made, dropping Swamp Thing. But whatever. I've definitely stayed on titles much longer than I should have myself, so I can't complain. Stillwater, number 13. Steven, if you're still here, I really hope you're wrong. You mentioned earlier that this is going to end after 15 issues. I have not heard that. I did not look it up after you told me that, but you kind of broke my heart earlier today when you mentioned that, because this has been consistently like a favorite book of mine for the last 13 issues. I have been all over this book. I love it to death. This is my favorite thing that Chip Zdarsky is writing right now. It'll be interesting to see how well he does on Batman and whether or not that has the potential to overtake this, but I don't know if it will. But yeah, Tessa says, I heard it's in the last arc. That's a bummer, because I swear I remember in the letters in the back of this book that they were talking about plans for going like for a while with this comic, because there's so much potential here, and it still feels like we're barely scratching the surface in this world, in this city where people do not age or die. It's a brilliant premise, and it's executed perfectly, and I can't get enough. I really love this comic. It's so good. It's so good. You need to try this first trade if you have not already. We have one of them still at Milky Comics. So if you're local, come pick one up from me. DC versus Vampires Hunters. This is a one-shot that appears to focus on Damian Wayne. I have not read this yet, but DC versus Vampires, written by Matthew Rosenberg, it was a continuous surprise. I did not expect to like that comic. And I think maybe because I set the bar so low, it worked. Like it worked for me. It's definitely not my favorite comic by any means, especially not from DC, but I'm enjoying it way more than I thought I would. I'm a little nervous about how well this one shot will be executed, but it's a one shot. They're dropping a quick. We're lucky we get something while they're on a hiatus at the halfway point, so it'll be fine. I have never read a Zdarsky book. Should I start with Stillwater? It's a good thing Tessa is still here, Mike, because I'm sure she's typing a furious answer for you right now, giving you all sorts of recommendations. I actually have Tessa to thank for telling me to read Stillwater, because I remember in the catalog when that was first solicited, I almost didn't pick it, and I was properly scolded by her, and thankfully I did decide to grab it. And I would agree with her. I would say that was a pretty good one to start with. You could do Daredevil by him. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I'd recommend that. I would recommend it, but I think Stillwater's a better starting point. Daredevil, you at least kind of already sort of know what you're going to get. And yeah, superheroes are tired. IMO. But yeah, I would recommend Stillwater over Newburn for sure. I would actually recommend Stillwater over a lot of comics on my entire pull list. I like it that much. It's a favorite. It's a solid favorite of mine. Hello, Agu. Good to see you here. You came in right at the end. This is the last book on my stack. Department of Truth. Okay, now we're talking. This is issue 18, the start of the third story arc. Yes, the third story arc of this book, which gets into the relationship between the American Department of Truth and the the Ministry of Lies, I think is what it's called, the Soviet Union counterpart to the Department of Truth. And if you are like me and you have a weird fixation on horror and politics and conspiracy theories, and really like almost like creepy painted, like hallucinogenic, trippy artwork like this, Martin Simmons is killing it on this book. This is the perfect book for me. And I know it's not for everyone, but if it wasn't for Nice House on the Lake, I think Department of Truth would be my number one favorite comic on my pull list right now. It's certainly at number 2. Depending on how these final issues of Nice House on the Lake go, this might actually be number one. I didn't love this particular issue so much. It's very much setting the pieces up for what's to come with this Soviet counterpart to the Department of Truth. So, like all issue ones, like this is technically part one of a new story arc. It's a lot of setup. So yeah, it'll be good, and I have faith. But I'm interested to see where that story arc goes moving forward. Chat is popping off. No, Tessa is popping off. He's currently writing a mini called Batman the Night, which is great if you want a Bat book. Disagree, but that's okay. Kaptara is excellent, but currently in publishing limbo. She did mention that was a favorite. Yes, artwork is excellent. I assume Unearthly is talking about Department of Truth. I really like it. I really like painted art, like Mr. Choi here. It's a favorite of mine. That's my favorite art style. It's different. I feel like you can see the talent in it easier. For me, it's easier to appreciate painted art and go, wow, that must take a lot of skill, versus something like this from like Gary Frank, which obviously also takes a lot of skill, but it just hits different, I guess. I much prefer expressionist painted kind of stuff. I also don't have enough of an art brain to fully explain how I'm thinking, but that's how it goes. Afterlift is fun, and Spider-Man Life Story is another good super book. Okay, Zdarsky recommendations. Thank you, Tessa. I'm starting to pay attention to reviewers and other voices here on TikTok, as you know, and the suggestions have been gold. I'll take full credit. She gets something, I guess, but I'll take full credit. Can't find an article on Stillwater ending, but pretty sure Robbie mentioned it on his weekend show. Interesting. I'll have to have a little chat with Robbie, I guess. I don't think I've ever talked to him, but I have to hunt him down if he's talking about the end of Stillwater. I need to look that up because I do not want that to end. Sorry, I got here late. Yeah, you did. Right at the end, Anthony. Love the Fire. Wondering if you already did or are going to do Hulk 7. It's here in this stack. I have not read it yet. I want to read. This is part 3 of the Banner of War. I want to reread all 3 of them because I also have not read part 2. So I'll get there. But no, I have it. I just had not read it. So I assume it'll be good. I've quite enjoyed this run so far. Not a fan of Batman the Night. Myself and my customer who are reading it have loved it. I'm an issue behind. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Batman the Night. I am current. I read the most recent issue the other day. I just don't think it's not really telling me anything new. I don't. It's young Bruce journeying the world, studying to be like a ninja / studying to be a cat burglar / studying to be somebody who wears masks and sneaks around parties and gets. It's just like you take something like Chip Zdarsky clearly took a list of the things that makes Batman Batman, and issue by issue he is explaining how Bruce studied underneath somebody to gain that trait. And now that I see the formula, I'm just I want something to happen. Like it's very much 5 different issues so far of him studying under a martial artist or like a cat burglar. It seems, in my opinion, it seems to set up the background for his run coming up. That would be really cool. I would appreciate that. I did not think about it like that, but if you are correct, I'm into it because there is this character that was training with him at like ninja school that seemed to come out of nowhere, and I was hoping would be Peacemaker to tie it back into James Tynion's run, and like that character that he introduced who also was around Bruce in the same time period of his life. I don't think this is Peacemaker. I'm pretty sure it's a new character, and that would be really cool if they bring that guy back into the main Batman run. Maybe Chip Zdarsky is just going to retell the whole Peacemaker story. Is that his Ghostmaker? My goodness, I'm getting the names wrong. Ghostmaker. DC. No, that's not DC. That's me. That's my brain not firing correctly. Is it too much like Batman Begins? I haven't read. No, it's not like Batman Begins. This Batman the Night is cool because it's the part that every Batman story just kind of glosses over when they say, oh, his parents got killed. And then he went away to go train and study. And now he's Batman. That one little part in the middle that they always skip over every time is what this story is. And I do like that. I just wished it wasn't so much like it feels like an itinerary, like when you get your schedule in high school and like first period is math, second period is PE, third period is science. It just feels like he's going from class to class learning different things, and then at the end he's just going to pop up in Gotham City and be like, all right, Batman, and that's the end. Like, I hope that's not how it ends. I expect more from Chip Zdarsky, but what the hell do I know? I'm not a I'm not a comic writer. I kind of relate it to the mini before his Daredevil run, I supposed. I did enjoy that run. I liked that little mini series a lot more than I'm liking Batman the Knight. It just, I don't know. Yeah, it's a whole story. You are right about the B covers, though. Those Riccardo Federici variants have been solid all throughout. If I had one easily reachable, I would grab it, but I don't. And we have hit the hour mark. I promise I was not stalling just to hit 1 hour exactly, but I just now looked at the clock. Paul says, I'm late. What's up, homie? You are very late. You missed the whole thing. I already went through all of my stack. This is half of it. This is the other half. This is a lot. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow at the shop. I said at the Paul shop. At the shop, Paul. Everyone else, I will see you. Like I said earlier, you can catch me actually tomorrow. I will be live on No Good Comics. That is No KNOW. No Good Comics, 7:30 Pacific time. We're gonna be going over Superman for All Seasons issue number 2, continuing our little breakdown series that we started a few weeks ago. So if you want to see me or learn about the best Superman comic, in my opinion, go watch that video. Hang out with me and Justin. He's a really cool dude, and I'm glad to be hanging out with him a little bit. So that is my Thursday. What else am I doing? On Sunday, actually, we have a tentative schedule. I don't know if I'm breaking the news here, but on Sunday, we are going to be doing our first Comic Talk live show since we broke up, I guess, if that's the way to say it. We used to do that show every week over on Will the Beast Fitness and Comics, whichever channel he has now. I get mixed up. But yeah, we all got really busy, and we stopped doing that show every week. But now we're going to do I think it's going to be like a May roundup sort of show, like a monthly schedule for that. So you can check that out if you want to see me again. That's on Sunday, I believe, on Will's channel. I'll be posting about it on Instagram before then. And then I'll be on Tom's on Tuesday, unless he gets tired again and we can't do it again. Because, yeah, in case you didn't notice, I was not on that show yesterday. We did not do a live show yesterday. He is still feeling very wiped out and tired from doing MegaCon this last weekend, which was a big deal for him. He was very busy. I don't blame him. So yeah, that's my week. Very busy week. And thank you guys for hanging out, and I will see you next time. Thank you again. And yes, hit the like button, like Tiago says. That's a good idea. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. Later.